and then we'll be successful.
Thank you very much. We can't all ask questions for 3 minutes. Philippe.
Señor Gurria, bienvenido en Bruselas. I'll say my question in English. I must say that I really like to welcome you here because, well, the OECD has been a provider of, has been a provider of inconvenient truth the last few months. And I'd like to refer to the report that you issued on rising inequalities, the report that you issued on, well, forgetting the climate and environmental challenges that was just published last week. Also, your continuous push for banking regulation, and I would explicitly mention your drive to have caps on leverage ratio. Now, you've spoken about a Sputnik moment for Europe, and not just for the growth, but for the future of Europe. By that, I tend to read that you believe that Europe is not doing enough on banking regulation, fighting environmental destruction, or fighting inequalities. Am I overreading you?
Okay, yes.
No, you're not. No, you're not. I think you're not doing enough, and it's not that you haven't done a lot. But take just those issues. Inequalities are rising. They were rising before the crisis. This is, we call it divided we stand, you know, this hymn about united we stand, and this is, of course, paraphrasing that. And the subtitle is Why Inequality Keeps Rising. And because in the best countries in Europe, inequality, that means the income of the lower 10% can go 7 times in the income of the highest 10%. Is this good or bad? Well, we don't know. The problem is it used to be like 5. Now, for the best countries is 7. The average is about 9 or 10. United States, UK, maybe Turkey, they're around the 14. My country is Mexico. It's 25. Brazil, 50. So, I mean, you could say, oh, we're in great shape. The problem is the trend is not good. Inequality is growing. And the chances of being poor, even in the countries, like Europe, etc., are increasing, of not having access to a minimum of the, of the satisfactors, etc. On the environment. Yes, you're right. We just put out a study, actually only a few days ago. It's called The Consequences of Inaction. And the conclusion is very simple. Any known course of action by today's known instruments and standards is going to be less expensive for mankind than the cost of inaction. And what is happening in the climate change field? We are in a collision course with nature because we are going to overshoot the 450 particles per million that are going to limit the warming to 2 degrees, and we are going to get very high, about 50% more than that, and then we're going to start coming down, and of course, the more we go without changes, the more expensive it will be to get back to the right level, and the more time it will take to get back to the right level. So the 2020 markers could be, meaningless at some point in time. That would be a tremendous loss. Now, Europe did very well. It was set the tone for the ETS, but now, of course, we have to get back again on that. On the inequalities, again, it has to be, there are a number, the problem is inequality is being dealt with as a residual policy. Residual policy. The residual policy is deal with growth, deal with employment, deal with this, and inequality will take care of itself. Inequality is now an issue that we have to address by itself. So, and it has to be done. Now, on the banking regulation, I would say in particular on banking regulation, you have talked about a number of national regulators, but with the coordination. The question of the capitalization of the European banks is still pending. That is a process that has not finished. And you gave them until June. That's going to be complicated. And now the caps on the leverage ratio, we are saying at least use that as a hard-biting, tough limit. Stop playing around with risk-weighted assets, you know, because you can do a lot of arithmetic with that and some magic, and you don't want to. So, yes, I would say that absolutely we wanted to suggest that perhaps, not that you're not doing enough, let me put it the other way around, that more can be done, okay? Because this is an admirable construction. Let me just say I am a very great Europhile, I have to confess. I was looking at issuing bond issues in European units of account in the year of 1968. Yeah? Already 44 years ago, when the euro wasn't even in people's minds, you know, we were already in Mexico issuing bonds in European units of account, and that's the way I found out about Europe when I was 18.